are going to go through the top 5 things that I love about the Cayman R. Now, there's not many things that I dislike about this car, so I am going to caveat it with that. So these top 5 is really probably more than 5 things, but there's some things that I think can kind of be piled together. One of which is my number 5. I love that this is a special edition, low production numbers Cayman R. Now what that means is Porsche did a little bit of Porsche magic, up the horsepower by 10 horsepower, and basically making it a lighter version of the Cayman S. Now this is kind of like the predecessor to the GT4, and it was also the swan song for the 987 generation. And I love that. I think that it kind of gives it a stamp in Porsche's history, which I think is very cool, especially because they use the R, which is not used very much in the Porsche history. Now, this isn't necessarily it's not a GT4. The GT4 is arguably a very much better car. But I think that there is a lot to love about this car, and right now I think it's a little bit undervalued and could be a future classic. It's got a very big track-focused nature to it. It makes it a hell of a lot of fun to drive. With the Cayman R, you get a fixed rear wing, which I also think is just super cool, and I think it looks better than a regular Cayman without a fixed wing. Number 4 was another thing that was specific to the Cayman model, or the Cayman R model, and that is the sport bucket seats. They are carbon fiber backed sport seats. I believe they're the same ones that they used in the 911s during this period. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they are. And they are fantastic seats. I love them. I think that they make the interior look so much better than the regular stocks or standard leather seats. There is just it just makes it look a lot more racy and special. They hug you really nicely, so if you're ever going to do any spirited driving or drive on the track, you really want these seats. I think they hold you in place, and again, you feel really good. The driving position, the seat makes this driving position for this car, and I think that's one of the most engaging features of this car, is how low you sit and the driving position. It's very driver focused, and you really get the design of that really comes through mainly because of these seats. The number 3 thing that I like is the gear shifter and the clutch and the whole transmission. It is one of the nicest gearboxes I think I've ever used. One of the best, I think, in any car ever. Porsche has always done a really good job with their manual transmissions, and this one is no exception. I think the PDK is great, but I think that if you get a Cayman, any Cayman, new or old, you have to get a manual. I think with the mid-engine, you get to hear all of the engine noise right behind you, and you can really sometimes even hear the clicks and the movement, and you can really feel like you're part of the car. And this shifter is what is the main thing that helps me do that, or helps the driver feel that way. The clutch is not aggressive, but it has a lot of feel to it. Or I feel like I can control the clutch with my foot much better, whereas I don't, and it makes the driving experience a lot more engaging. And when you couple that with this fantastic gearbox and gear shifter with very solid and responsive and, again, controllable movements and gates, it makes it such a great driving position and feeling and everything. Let's go on to number 2, things that I love about the Cayman R. I like the looks. I think the mid-engine design and the hatchback, I think it looks very sporty and good. I think there are some colors that I agree kind of hurt that. But I think the Cayman R really sets it apart. It sits a little lower. It's got premium, or it's got alloy wheels from the Carrera, the 911 Carrera, which I think really helped to bring the whole car together on the side profiles. It has that rear wing that we talked about, the fixed one, which again gives it a much more aggressive look in the back. And then the side profile, I think it's sticking up the whole time, makes it look amazing. And it makes it look like it's almost ready to pounce. I think when you look at the back of the car, it really looks like it's on its haunches, almost like a cat or a dog that's about to launch itself, which I think is really cool. I really like that. I think they did a really good job making the back look very aggressive. And I love the subtle little details, like the rear fixed wing, and then they also have different color mirrors, side mirrors, and then they have a Porsche decal, which again is kind of an ode to the history, because a lot of Porsches used to have that decal along the side. And I think those little hints of touches make it so that the car stands out so much more than just a regular Cayman S. And the number one thing that I love about this Cayman is the way that it makes you feel when you're driving. And I've kind of already hinted at that, because it's the whole package that comes together. It's the seats holding you in. It's the gearbox helping you, guide you through the next gear changes and the downshifts and the heel to toe. It's the clutch, being able to feel it and feel what the car is doing. And it becomes a very visceral experience when you're driving a vehicle and you feel like you're in control, and you're not necessarily allowing the car to drive you, you're telling the car what you want it to do. I think it's a very special way, it's a very special thing that you feel when you drive cars like this. Now, in typical Porsche fashion, they took everything out, but I think that makes the car better, because I think, especially at that time, technology was kind of still catching up, so to speak. So the navigation system was terrible. It has Bluetooth, but it's not that great. But again, you have the mid-engine right behind you. You really don't have to listen to music and listen to the radio. You really have a great car and a great noise to listen to behind you. You get a very tactile feel throughout the whole car. You feel like you're engaged. You don't feel like you want to drift off and your thoughts can carry you away. You feel like you want to be doing what you're doing. And when you make it perfect and you make it smooth, you feel at one with the car. And that's what makes it a true driver's car and a true joy to drive. It's so engaging, and it really makes you, it's one of those cars that makes you want to fall in love with just going out for a drive again. I would characterize this car as a quick car, not a fast car. It does 0 to 60 in about 4.6, 4.7 seconds. The manual gearbox. PDK is a little lower. But again, this car is not necessarily a go fast in a straight line kind of car. Now, it does get up and go, for sure. But this car is made for the corners. It's made to engage you when you go around corners, and it's made to really help you feel what the car is doing and tell you what the car is doing. It gives it such a tactile and, again, engaging feeling, knowing that you're a guy in the car, but it's giving you the feedback to do this, try this, don't do that. It's a great car to learn how to drive on the limit and find the limit, which again is kind of why I fell in love with this car. I think this is it's a great car, and I think it's one car that people should give a lot more credit to, because yeah, it's kind of an underdog, and I quite like that. talk about. If you have any questions about the Cayman R, and if you can, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you know when each video comes out. Thanks for watching. Hope you come back for more car therapy.